they're saying, let's get more cats with guns pointed at people and to be shot if they disagree. Laws are not just good ideas or good advice or be nice if, but laws are armed people shooting you if you don't follow them to a cage, right? It's legitimate kidnapping. That's the deal. That's the way it is. I mean, it takes a huge amount of propaganda to miss these basic and obvious facts, which is, of course, the problem. Government schools don't tell you about the nature of the state because that would reveal the nature of the funding of the teachers and of the administrators and of the school. And like right now in Toronto, in Ontario, some teachers are going on strike, and people have no choice. They still have to pay for the schools because that comes out of property taxes, even those who rent. And in fact, in many places, I think Canada as well, the property taxes you pay on rental units is even higher than you pay on condos, but because it's baked into the rent, people don't notice as much. And so what is a teacher going to say to you? Oh yeah, everything that's, you're here by force. I'm paid because of my appeal to force. Your parents and other people who don't even have kids have to pay for the school, whether they agree with it or not, whether they consider it useful or wise or not. And, we let you kids out at 3:15, even though parents get off at work at 5 o'clock because we have the guns to prevent competition that might make things a little bit more convenient. We don't know why you given homework. There's no proof that it does anything other than cause family conflict and make people hate learning. We don't know why. We have no idea if you sitting in rooms in rows is the best for you to learn. We know that it's the most convenient in the same way that you don't ship individual anchovies in a Tiffany's box. You just jam as many as you can in and squash the lid down. Well, that's how classrooms work. We don't know if summers off is good for you. In fact, we're pretty sure it's not because it gives you a couple of months to forget everything that you learned and start pretty much from scratch the next year. But we as teachers really like our summers off. And by the way, we've got the guns of the state to prevent any competition from any other schools that might do something more convenient and better for you to learn. Now, make sure you don't use violence to get what you want, right? I mean, that would just be ludicrous. So there's, of course, a huge amount of propaganda that the government is not forced, that the government is some sort of social contract or taxes are the price we pay for living in a civilized society. And but the reality is the state is force. Barack Obama has said it. George Washington is reported to have said it. The state is force. The state is violence, and it is the initiation of violence. Everyone has the right of self-defense, but only the state has the right to impose unilateral pseudo-contracts on people in the form of increased taxes or taxes at all, and then just come and arrest you if you don't pay, or shoot you if you resist. The state is force. So saying that laws are just a piece of paper is an insult to pieces of paper, which are generally pacifist, although occasionally those paper cuts. Back in the day, before Kindle, when I was a grad student, paper cuts. There's nothing worse than an old dusty paper cut from 19th century books that might have TB in them. But so no, yeah, laws are opinions with guns. And the reason I've said this before for many years, laws are opinions with guns, because nobody can tell you why a law is justified, and no one can tell you why the state is justified and why these particular individuals have the right to initiate force and counterfeit and borrow on other people's behalf and impose unilateral contracts without other people's consent and do all the things that are completely illegal to everyone and not inside the blackened biosphere bubble of evil power known as the state. No one can tell any of these things to anyone because they make absolutely no rational sense whatsoever or moral sense. So they're opinions in that they're unfounded in philosophy, but they're opinions with guns, because if you disagree with the state and you act upon that disagreement, your likely solution is not in a voting booth, but in a pine box rotting for eternity. So